right, welcome back to another episode where we are going to discuss another episode of television. This episode, The Rogue Prince, House of Dragon. What'd you guys think? How are you feeling right now with the whole Game of Thrones vibe?
I mean, glad to be back in the world, personally.
Yeah?
I
Okay.
like even with the ending that Game of Thrones had,
Yeah.
it's still a show that like I find myself like wanting to go back to watch. So a
Game
whole
of
new
Thrones?
series, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I've had no urge to
knowing the
rewatch.
ending too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've had no urge to rewatch Game of Thrones at all still, but I'd say this show is like taking baby steps for me. Yeah, I'm getting there. I can feel my interest in the world coming back, which is nice.
Yeah. See, I have also no urge as of yet to go back to Game of Thrones, even though I love the first 6 seasons, so it's a shame.
Yeah.
And so far, this isn't really convincing me. I don't know. This episode was worse than the first, so
Why would you say it's worse?
it just felt so dead, boring, predictable. I don't know. There was nothing, I guess, no flair, no interesting things to excite me. It was predictable, in my opinion.
You didn't like the dragon showdown on Dragonstone?
Really enjoyed the shot of the 2 dragons and the dragon coming in. I was like, wow, that was fucking sweet.
Yeah.
But that was the only time I said anything positive about the episode while watching it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good scene, but I felt in that scene, that was the scene that they're like, we got to make a Game of Thrones scene where people, like, we got, like, there's those scenes, and mostly they have to do with dragons, where it's like, let's just show them how cool it is, you know, like, but, I mean, I don't know, I like it enough to, I don't know, keep going. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll keep going. I'll hobble along, but I hope it gets better. I mean, it's fine. I'm not saying it's like terrible. It's fine.
I get what you're saying. It feels like, I don't know, the hype and like the mystique of Game of Thrones just feels a little lesser. You know, it's like the turning stuff feels like a little mundane. You know, in the sense of like, you know, getting people's heads lopped off in the first season. And
I just felt like it was kind of a lame move for him to just give the egg back like that. I feel like with the way he's portrayed himself as kind of a bastard, I feel like he would have just, put up a little bit more of a fight, but he just kind of tosses it back.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think they're like setting up the seeds for like this season and the show. Obviously, they have to do a lot of legwork to get you to understand like the characters and the dynamics of the families and shit. So like I would say that if this one was boring, it was more of like they're having to like fire up the engines of story and shit, and like I can like with the decision by Viserys to marry Alicent, that's obviously like the shocking ending moment. I mean, I guess not the ultimate shocking ending moment because there's another one after it, but I mean that I guess you could say that felt predictable. I mean, they led you on the path there, like with like what Viserys was going through that episode and how those two interact as characters.
that was one of the things that I predicted at the first start of the episode. I was like, oh, he's gonna marry her.
But I think that moment they have to hit that moment no matter what. And I say in the first 2 to 3 episodes or whatever, because that's going to be one of the most, I would hope, important things in this story. So I mean, I could see those complaints where people are like, "Oh, it's just it's whatever, it's just kind of standard." But
I get the sense too that's like big, like this guy's obviously kind of like making the choices he's gonna make or whatever. It's like it already feels like and he's like rotting away literally. You're getting the sense that like this guy's gonna get set up.
The throne's killer
for the throne struggle. Yeah, like something's gonna happen. He's gonna die, and then it's gonna be the power struggle, the infighting that'll really
after.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. There's like a level of predictability that is like almost non-existent. I feel like in Game of Thrones, in comparison.
At least in those early seasons.
Game of Thrones, it feels like anyone can fucking die. You don't know which house is like like at near the top are gonna like make the next move, that kind of thing.
Which I guess I shouldn't compare, even though they use the same fucking theme music.
Yeah, new intro, but
little
what did you guys think about that intro? I guess
I didn't hear it the first episode, and then this episode started, and I was like, "Holy shit! They took the cheap way out. They just used the same fucking theme song."
Yeah, I'm not sold on the same
too.
theme.
It was a little like, I don't know. I get the bloodline or whatever, like the blood trickling around and like.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool sequence. It's kind of like lacking in like detail and like vibrancy for me. Like the Game of Thrones map, it's so like it's so expansive and so like open, and this was like so contained in alleys, and I mean, it's a different vibe. I mean, and it flowing into the Targaryen sigil at the end, dope. I mean, pretty cool, and it swells with the Game of Thrones music. It hits the spot, but I don't know if they probably should have tried for a different taste, in my opinion. Just in theme, a different dope theme would have really.
Dude, I mean, it's all about dragons. Like, give me a dope ass scene of like dragon fire and like shit being forged or the Iron Throne being forged. You know, like I don't know, like
it's all about blood.
More of like the roots of stuff. Yeah, and like the bloodlines that come from old Valyria.
I think blood is like obviously a super big theme though for the show, so it does fit. I mean, it's Fire and Blood is the book it's based on, so like I mean, but like bloodlines, like I mean, people are dying obviously in this world. Like your family, your bloodline is super important in this world. So I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. It's just not as interesting probably as it could have been.
Yeah, and I guess I shouldn't compare, but it's kind of hard to at times. But at the same time, the positives I do like. I can't think of the fucking king. What's his name? Viserys. Yeah, he's my favorite. I think his character is really interesting and compelling to watch. Him and Daemon, they're pretty.
I would agree.
I'd say a lot of these characters are
There's a good dynamic between the two.
Yeah, I mean the two brothers, obviously they're. Yeah. I want to see how those arcs will like collide or whatever again.
Right.
I don't know. Honestly, though, a lot of the characters are popping for me, just in terms of like how they're emphasizing them and like compared to each other. I mean, that's obviously what Game of Thrones did with each character. Like they have different families, different sigils, different motivations and goals. It all amounts to power at the end of the day. But like with Viserys, I mean, he's really interesting. But I also find like Corlys Velaryon very interesting. I don't know anything about that guy.
Yeah.
Is he the
black dude with the white dreads? The ship master.
I think he's master of ships, and he's like the sea something. I can't remember.
I do like his character a lot too.
Yeah. But he's got his own family, his own power struggle, and I mean, I don't know. And then like the same with Otto, they're all going vying for the same stuff we know in the Game of Thrones world. So at like a certain point, it's not as interesting, but I'd say that all these characters are distinct enough and cool enough, like to be for me to be interested in most of them.
I'm interested in the crab folk that they're introducing there.
That was a hot hook. Cool. I'm not gonna lie, I like that shit. That made the world feel new.
Throw some pirates in there. Like, fuck,
that was cool.
I agree. That kept me a little bit interested, and like you said, it made it feel a little more fresh. In terms because we don't know these fucking people.
Yeah, it's like a cool style. It's bringing some like dark drama back to like to the world and from the free cities. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm interested enough that I'm watching Alt-Shift-X videos on YouTube, which means like they're breaking down all the shit, and I'm because I want to like know more about the lore. That's why I fell in love with Game of Thrones. Is like that world is so intricate, and George R. Martin, as much as he just lazily wrote like some of the shit down on the sidelines, it's all like fleshed out. So like I find that stuff very interesting, and I'm at the point now where I kind of want to read Fire and Blood, but I also don't know if I should, because I'm wondering if it'll like spoil this show for me then if I know what's gonna happen, because I don't know how this ends.
It might be a fresh to see, but then then if you read the book, you'll have something to compare it to in terms of authenticity.
Yeah, and I read the first 3 Game of Thrones books after they aired, so I didn't really compare them at the time. But I mean, I don't know. I'm curious I'm wondering if I'll give in to reading it, but I'm at the moment now where I'm deciding. So,
hey, I think they're all over Target. So,
what's that?
I think they're all over Target, the Fire and Blood books. So. If you get the hankering, just walk over to your local Target.
Yeah, I heard there's cool artwork in them too. I mean,
there is. It's a pretty cool book, but I loaned it to a friend, so
I never got to read it.
But yeah, I mean, there were some cool shots. Dragons are badass. Characters are getting a little bit more compelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in the world expanding.
Some shoddy city CGI this episode.
And
I didn't last episode, but it really popped out in like one of the opening shots for me. But I'm hoping that they're just kind of peppering their CGI budget and then gonna hit us with something extremely epic. I would think towards the end of the season, if they're following the same structure as every other Like,
wonder how much like each of those dragons cost, and CG, like there's like a budget per dragon, or
I mean,
however expensive they are.
They got to get these early shots for dragons, and I'm assuming they're gonna have some epic dragon fighting later.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just hoping they're kind of like not as focused on these early episodes because they're all working on something else later. I mean, I would hope, or else it's gonna feel cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get setup and stuff of characters. I don't know, a little less predictability.
Yeah,
would be appreciated. Something more fresh, which I think they're introducing in this next episode. So here I am.
I was surprised by like the time jump between episode 1 and 2. I feel it's like I mean that didn't happen until the end of the last seasons of Game of Thrones.
It does feel like it hasn't stopped the like expedited pace of the last seasons. I mean, maybe they don't need to take it as slow as the first seasons of Game of Thrones did, or whatever. There's no travel times. You know what I'm saying? Like early Game of Thrones, all those scenes took place in like a fucking like horse carriage, or you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
And characters like talking on the way to someplace. They're at Dragonstone in the next scene. I mean, so you still feel that a little bit. I'm kind of worried personally. I know there's a time jump coming where the main actresses switch. And I'm really hoping that doesn't make me like disconnect from the characters, kind of, because I like Rhaenyra. I like Alicent too, like the actresses.
Same. Yeah.
And I know Olivia Cook is coming to play Alicent later, and she's usually a pretty good actress. But I don't know. I'm worried about that disconnect when it happens, because if they spend too many episodes with these young characters, you want to stay with them for a while.
Right. Yeah, I have a little concern of that too when I heard that they were switching. And then I thought they were going to switch this episode so we wouldn't get so connected with the character. But
it seems like we're going to have at least one, if not a few more episodes here too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I could see. I mean, I don't know. I could see it both ways, where it's like you worry about having too much to where like you don't want to see them, older. You want to stick with them, and then not giving it enough where it's like you can't see like. The time between, you don't know what happened to this character in between, so it's got to leave us from her like in a with spot. Some big, like some big turn for her character. I would think, because then it's like, oh, she's older now. We understand like where her motivations still lie somewhat, but
yeah, and I hope the actresses can like bridge that gap. I guess.
Yeah, that's gotta be a challenge too.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's nice to have it back. I don't know. Everyone shit on that last season of Game of Thrones, me included. It deserves it, but like I can tell that it wasn't like the end of the universe. Clearly not. It was like bad execution of an incredible story. So it's unfortunate, but I hope that these are steps to repair it. I mean, it feels like it. So
I think they're really working hard to try to repair that bad streak they got there, but.
What a bummer. Yeah.
Maybe it'll just keep getting better. So we'll see.
See what next
I'm
episode
staying
brings.
somewhat optimistic. So
cool. Same.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? Let us know. We'll probably be talking on the rest of the House of the Dragon episodes. So stick around with us.
Peace.